people are reluctant to believe in Bernie's vision. They may be afraid that too big of a vision will result in disappointment or even make the gridlock worse. They may have a hard time believing that in America we could have universal health care and free college tuition. And of course, the Clinton campaign has tried to stoke these doubts. But does anyone really believe that a President Clinton could convince a Republican Congress to enact her programs? No. Hillary Clinton told us she won't push for universal health care because it would start another big national divisive debate, and she doesn't want that. Well, what rock has she been hiding under? Little Rock. In the Minnesota legislature, I'm on the front lines working on health care for all, and I have news for Hillary. The debate on Obamacare is still on. Stopping at Obamacare will not end the debate. Obamacare was a huge step forward, but is far too complicated and still too expensive for many families. What we need is a new vision for health care and for all of the things Americans need to help them reach for the American dream. We need a new vision that gives Americans hope for a better future and that tells them who is on their side. Now, we know that few people want to have a big national divisive debate, but we have to have it because the alternative is to let the bullies win. Now, you know that one of the reasons that so few Americans vote is that they don't see the point. They can't see the difference between candidates. They don't know who's on their side and who's really speaking for the wealthy and the well-connected. And to win this election and to make real change, Americans must know who is on their side. They have to know that their president is who he says he is, and that he's really working for them. We need the clear vision that Bernie offers, because millions of dollars will be spent to confuse and mislead Americans, and only Bernie can break through that noise. In politics, compromise is necessary, and we all know that, and Bernie certainly knows that. But we will not make progress by cutting down our vision before we even start. Bernie's vision is inspiring millions to work for the America they really want for themselves and for their children. So, thank you, Bernie Sanders. Thank you for your leadership, for your energy, and for putting before us a vision that we can believe in. Now, friends, what you've all been waiting for, I give you Bernie Sanders.
Thank you, Rochester. Thank you. And Representative Tina Liebling, thank you so much for that introduction. You said it all. What this campaign is about is not just electing a president. Yeah, that's pretty important. But there's something that is more important. And as Tina just said, it is about transforming America. It is about thinking big and the kind of country we want to become. It is understanding something that the media will not tell you or talk about much, is that in the last 30 years, there has been a massive redistribution of wealth. Problem is that redistribution has gone in the wrong direction. Yes, thank you, President Obama. We are better off today than we were 7 years ago, that's for sure. You know, it's amazing to me that our Republican friends suffer from a very, very serious illness, which seems to be all pervasive among Republicans, and that is short-term amnesia. How they could go forward with a straight face and talk about the problems we have today while ignoring what world Bush left us in when he left office. So we are going to make sure that our Republican friends do not forget that when President Bush left office, we were losing 800,000 jobs a month. Unbelievable. Our deficit was a record-breaking $1.4 trillion. Oh, and by the way, the world's financial system was on the verge of collapse. Other than that, we were doing really good. So to hear Republicans talk about, where we are today without putting it into that context is somewhat of an outrage. But here is another truth. Yes, we are better today than we were 7 years ago. But the reality is that for the last 30 years, under Republican leadership, under Democratic leadership, the middle class of this country has been shrinking, and almost all new income and wealth has been going to the top 1%. Now, the reason I think our campaign has been doing so well and why we're bringing out huge crowds, we just came from Texas. We had 10,000 people out in Austin. We had 8,000 people out in Dallas, and this is a pretty good turnout tonight. Thank you very much, Rochester. And the reason is that we're doing something very unusual. We're talking truth to the American people. And sometimes, truth is not pleasant. It's like you go to the doctor and you're not feeling well. Even if the news is bad, you got to know what's going on before you can get better. And that's kind of what it is with our country today. We have to face some very unpleasant truths. And let me give you a few. Number one, you are living under, as Tina mentioned, a corrupt campaign finance system which is undermining American democracy. I wish I could describe it in more pleasant terms, but I can't. When you have billionaires and Wall Street and corporate America pouring hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into the political process, that is not democracy, that is oligarchy. And together, we are going to stop that oligarchy. You know what democracy is about, and I really do love democracy, is one person, one vote. It is you disagree with me, that's fine. You got a better idea than me, fight for it. That's a beautiful thing. But what democracy is not about is a handful of billionaires buying elections. And I'll tell you something else that democracy is not about. It is not about cowardly Republican governors trying to suppress the vote. You know, I've been in politics for a while. It has never occurred to me to figure out a way to make it harder for people to vote because they might be voting against me. So I say to those Republican governors and legislatures who are trying to make it harder for poor people or old people or people of color to vote, if you are afraid of participating in a free and fair election, get out of politics, get another job. Today in America, we have one of the lowest voter turnout rates.